Hello everybody, it's Calxiyn here, and today Hunter and I are going to be talking about the future. Sort of. The future for Volume 6. Yeah, we're gonna discuss something that I've been thinking about, and a lot of you guys have actually been asking about this. So, where does Sun go from here, in terms of his character?
Right.
And I was actually considering this, so if you guys don't know, like, I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks now, I guess, because the volume was over, no, I guess just last week, whatever. And so I've been thinking about this for a while, and so my thing, I guess, is that I don't think that Sun is coming with us. I think that they're gonna leave him in Mistral, and I'm gonna make an argument to why they should and why they shouldn't in terms of writing. Because I'm not saying that necessarily one is going to happen over the other, but I want to give you guys both the options, because there isn't really anything in between. Like, he either stays in Mistral, or he comes with like, he either leaves the cast for a while, or he keeps coming with the cast, right? There's not really any in-between, option, right? Unless he comes with us and then dies, which would be leaving the cast, effectively.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the side option that we have here, right? So I'm gonna make an argument for why he should stay in Mistral, in terms of characterization and writing and what have you. So now, as we are going to Atlas, the thing is Sun has no connection with Atlas at all, as far as we're aware. He has a connection with Vacuo, and that's gonna be my suggestion, is that when we get to the Vacuo arc, it is time to bring him back, right? But when you look at other characters in the cast, they all seem to have a connection to Atlas. Like, obviously, Crow is one of Ozpin's men, and he has this connection to Ironwood. They have this sort of, I don't want to say fighting thing going on, but, like, you see that Ironwood, that's the send button. Like, that's my favorite line out of Volume 3. Like, that's just so, like, that's so Crow, right? So Crow has this connection to Ironwood and this connection to Winter, and obviously he also has the connection to Ozpin and the relics. Ozpin has the connection to Alice because he knows that we have to get the relic there, and that he also would like to talk to Ironwood, to be honest, you know what I mean? Weiss's connection is pretty obvious, if I have to say so myself. You know what I mean?
She used to summer in Atlas.
Huh?
Which is ironic, because it's quite cold.
Oh boy. So Weiss's family is there, so obviously you kind of see why we are doing that. With Blake, the first line that Blake basically says is condemning the Schnee Dust Company. Mm-hmm. So if Blake really wants to sort of help build a new White Fang, like Gira sort of suggested, it's time to go over there and help the Faunus over there and continue that sort of, part of her plan, right? Yang took out the relics, so she obviously has a reason to go there. RWBY is just like, I must fight for the good of the world, right? And so RWBY has that connection.
This is what I sound like.
So I'm gonna actually make a video on why Juniper should stay behind as well for narrative reasons, but that's another story. So we're talking about Sun. So I've kind of gone over all of our mains, right? Ilya grew up in Atlas, so it makes sense for her to kind of take center stage with the main characters and sort of help them on their Atlas goings, if that makes sense, right? But for Sun, his entire team is in Mistral, and I think that it would be...
I don't think they would bring those, like, blank slates along for the ride.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that when you bring them, that's way too many characters. And so here's my line of thinking, is that Sun should stay in Mistral because his job was to help Blake fight Adam, and yes, Adam is still out there, but unless Adam gets on a plane to Atlas, Adam is going to be stuck in Mistral for a while, right? And so the most effective thing that Sun can do, if he wants to stick around, is stick around in Mistral and then sort of help the authorities try to locate Adam and see what's going on with that, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is that he left his entire team, and now their headmaster, who they probably, like, respected before they found out he was like this, is dead, right? And is a traitor, and all of this nonsense, you know what I mean? Because think about orientation. So for orientation, Ozpin gave a speech, to the school, right? When they first started. So Lionheart, Ironwood, they probably did this. They probably had a very similar connection with their students, right? And so, Sun knows this headmaster. Maybe he thought he was a little fishy, but still respected him a great deal. They find out he's a traitor before they go to Atlas, and they find out that he's dead. You know what I mean? Like, Sun needs to be there to support his team, and I think it would be really compelling of a line for him to say, listen, like, Blake, like, I said that I would do this for you and I would help you, but now somebody else needs my help. I need to stay here, right? And trying to, I don't want to say that Blake will need that much convincing, because I think Blake will let him, but he needs to sort of convince Blake that, like, he was going to follow her to see this through, but now she's seen it through herself, and now somebody else needs his help. Somebody else needs him, right? Because... And even taking from the song, it's I'll follow you like morning follows night, you know what I mean? And so, that was for, like, what Blake wanted to do. But now what Blake sort of tried to achieve is winding down, in a sense, right? And so I think that, and also, if Sun ditches his team again in their time of need, I'm sorry, but I won't be able to respect him as a character. That's the problem. And I don't think that they're gonna bring Neptune and them along because of the, like, the more people that know about magic and the relics, like, the more that info can spread. And so I don't think that Ozpin is trying to tell everybody, you know what I mean? And so if Sun is like, hey, we gotta go to Atlas, and then his team is like, why? And then he can't give a good reason, because obviously, I don't think that Ozpin needs to explain to Ilya necessarily about the relics and stuff, because Ilya isn't going to help them with the relics. Ilya is going to probably just be there to follow Blake and to try to, you know, Schnee Dust Company nonsense, right? And so, that doesn't need an explanation, but Sun doesn't really have that same connection to Alice, and they don't have that same... sort of will to necessarily take down the Schnee Dust Company or whatever they want to do, right? And so it's going to be harder to kind of convince his team that they need to go, you know what I mean? Because they can say that they want to go, but do they need to go? And I think that, like, the reasoning for Ilya is that Ilya, since she knows Atlas best and all of that, other than Weiss, right? And that none of the characters are having ever been implied to be there, like, you know, Ilya kind of needs to go with them, or at least she feels the need to go with Blake. And Sun may feel the need to go with Blake as well, but if you're trying to convince the rest of the team to go, what need does the rest of the team feel? Because unless you're telling them that you're saving the world, that's not an option. Right, and so what reason would you be able to give them when none of them seem to have any connection with Atlas that could end up helping Weiss or helping with the relic or any of that, right? And so
would motivate them to do something.
Or would even motivate them to help out. And so I think that,
unless they're all just buds, but
I mean, I guess, but, like, why would you, like, go halfway across the world for, like, not necessarily not a good reason, but, like, school was supposed to start up, your city is in shambles, but sure, let's all go to Alice, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see Neptune being that sort of guy either, and we don't know anything about the other two, so there's that. But I think that here's kind of what I think. I think that we are going to see, Neptune in them again, but it's when Sun is going to be leaving, right? You understand what I mean? And so, we are going to see Neptune, and we are going to see, the other one. We are going to see Sun and the rest of the team before we leave for Atlas. We're going to see Scarlet and Sage. They're going to sort of hang out with us for a bit, but as Ozpin says, listen, it's time to leave. Sun is going to be like, listen, Blake, I don't think I can come with you. You know? I can't see them bringing the rest of the team. That's the real problem here. I can't imagine a universe where they decide, oh, you know what would be fun if we have a collective of 8 side characters, 4 main characters, Ilya, and then, you know, Crow, Ozpin, or whoever else is involved. Like, that's way too fucking many, alright? Let's just all calm down here, and that's not even including the villain side. So, you would have Juniper, which I'm gonna talk about why they shouldn't be coming either. So, you have 3 from Juniper, then you would have the 4, right? Then you would have Ilya as a side character, that's 8. And then you would still have Crow, Ozpin, Ironwood, Winter, Jacques, Whitley, possibly it's a mess. Like, don't do that. And that's not even the villains yet. Like, that's not even Emerald and Hazel, and where the fuck did they go? Like,
you're worried they may be a little crowded.
Yeah, it's too crowded, so they can't come with them. And here's the thing, is that if Sun decides to abandon his team again for Blake, I don't think that they'll do that, because I think that's bad characterization of his person. Does that make sense? Like, that's a bad way to kind of show off his character, because you're saying that he doesn't really care about being a leader to his team. He cares about following Blake around the world, and I think that's really not who he's supposed to be. You know, I think that he does genuinely care about his team, and if he does, then he should stay with them in their time of need. Like, the professors are dead, a lot of teachers are implied to be dead, like, they're probably really upset, you know what I mean? And so Blake doesn't really need him anymore to come with her, you know what I'm saying? And when they go to Vacuo, that's when Sun and then Neptune and all of them will come with, right? Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And so, for the Atlas arc, they're not going to come with. But as soon as they get into Vacuo again, you know, Blake's going to be like, okay, well, let me call Sun, because Sun knows exactly more about this place than any of us. None of us have ever been there. They need Sun and Sage and Scarlet and Neptune. So that's sort of my idea. I think it would be really shitty for Sun to be like, oh, well, sorry, team. I know that, you like, our headmaster's dead and school was supposed to start, but now it's not. But, like, time to follow Blake all over the world. You know what I mean? And so... And even with that, say he does follow them, and then the team wants to come with, that's the crowded part, and say he wants to follow them and the team doesn't come with, that ruins his character. So you kind of see all of the options we have. You have what is, in my opinion, would ruin his character if he abandons his team again, because he's not really a leader, unless that becomes a conflict point later on.
Which then you're just distracting from maybe more interesting characters.
Yeah, which is the main plot, you know what I mean? Like, oh, sorry, Neptune, that you're having a squibble with Sun about him not being a leader, but, you know, the world is ending, and we have this relic that we have no idea what to do with it, you know what I'm saying? And so that would be messy. That would be very messy plot, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, like, just forget about that, and so that's why I don't think that Sun should come with. Like, I think that he should stay home. Because even though, like, I would enjoy seeing his character develop more, because they did such a good job, like, balancing him and making him better in Volume 5, I don't think that, if he comes with them, that'll ruin all of the characterization that he's already had, in my opinion. Like, not all of it, because obviously part of him is wanting to be there for Blake, and it wouldn't ruin that part, but about him being a good leader, and about his team respecting him, and about, you know, how he cares about people. Like, it would show that he doesn't really care about Neptune and them as much as Blake, and I think that Blake is past her time of need again.
And as they say, rose before hose.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, be there for your team. Stop chasing this girl. And I think that what would be nice is that, like, as they're leaving and then Blake, they have this heartfelt moment where maybe, like, you know, like, Blake gives him, like, a nice cheek kiss, you know, as a time to sit, like, it's, like, bye, son, you know, we'll see you later. That would be very sweet,
gay,
you know,
because it's just a cheek kiss.
And, you know, Ilya and Yang will be there in the background, like, wait a second, like, excuse me? No, but that's kind of what I see. I kind of see a very sweet departure where Blake thanks him, like, for everything that he's done, and, like, is really sad to see him go, and whether Sun gets a cheek kiss or not is up in the air, but that's kind of the ending I see, for Sun, is that we don't see him for maybe 1 or 2 volumes, and, you know, like, we get a nice farewell, you know, something to satisfy the Bumblebee shippers, because the Black Sun shippers, because Sun won't exist anymore for a while, and then the rest of us can celebrate because the writing didn't go to shit, right?
Sure.
And so that's basically my idea. There you go. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. So do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Do you have a way for Sun to come to Atlas without it, like, ruining, like, character development and writing and stuff? Maybe something I haven't considered, because that is something I considered, was Neptune being mad at them, and that being a later
Neptune
plot
and them
point.
are just like, yeah, we have no school to be at. Let's fucking go with you guys.
But the problem is then you get character saturation, right?
Yeah,
There's
that's
way
true.
too many people then. And so here's the last thing I'm gonna leave you guys. It's either Juniper or it's Team Sun. You can only have one. That is what I will say, is that I think that the compromise here, if you guys want, is that Juniper doesn't come with, but then Sun's team does.
Which
right?
would be as good.
Which, well, that's a whole other debate, right? But I'm saying that that's a way to get Sun to come with Blake, but also keep his team, and also keep things not that bad in writing, is that if Juniper leaves. And I'm gonna make an argument for why Juniper shouldn't come with in a later video. And so that's going to be interesting. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you guys should join our Discord server or become patrons over on Patreon, and I want to see what you guys think, so you guys should tell us. And we will see y'all later. Bye, guys.